No, he's not here either. Hey, welcome to the show. Brian Wilson's my name, sitting in for Joey Reynolds. Joey's on vacation. Joey's taking three undeserved days off to go out and recharge. And amazingly enough, due to an old war wound and debt, he asked me to come and sit in for him. So here we are at 1-800-321-0710. Everything else remains the same. Same microphone, same glorious bunch of technical and support people, same fine radio station, and just a different throat and brain that occasionally get together and work. Let me say hi to a bunch of the stations that have joined us along the network. First, folks down in Baltimore. Say hi to them. Say to my buddy Steve out in Denver. And I say hello to Mom, but she's not talking to me anymore, and she's down in Florida, so I guess probably just move along best on that. Probably a fair number of you, have no clue who I am. I thought I'd take a moment here at the top of the hour to run down a few things. I'm first of all, Brian Wilson is not my real name, obviously. That's my stage name. My real name is Brian Wilson, but I answer to both. So if you call, or when you call, at 1-800-321-0710, you don't have to worry that I'll break out into a chorus of Surfer Girl or Good Vibrations or anything like that. It'll be just good old Brian Wilson here sitting in for good old Joey Reynolds. I'm a dynamic figure. I'm often seen scaling walls and crushing ice. I've been to remodel train stations on my lunch breaks, making them more efficient in the area of heat retention. I translate ethnic slurs for Cuban refugees. I write award-winning operas. I manage time efficiently. Occasionally, I tread water for 2-3 days in a row. I've been known to woo women with my sensuous and godlike saxophone playing. I can pilot bicycles up several and severe inclines with unflagging speed. I cook 30-minute brownies in 20 minutes. I am an expert in stucco, a veteran in love, and an outlaw in Peru. Using only a hoe and a large glass of water, I once single-handedly defended a small village in the Amazon basin from a horde of ferocious army ants. I play the bluegrass cello. I was scouted by the Yankees. I am the subject of numerous documentaries. When I'm bored, I build large suspension bridges in my front yard. I enjoy urban hang gliding, and on Wednesdays after work, I repair electrical appliances free of charge. Let's see, a few other things. I'm an abstract artist, a concrete analyst, and a ruthless bookie. Critics worldwide have gone bananas over my original line of corduroy evening wear. I do not perspire. I am a private citizen, yet I receive fan mail. Here in radio, I have been caller number 9 and have won the backstage passes. Last summer, I toured New Jersey with a traveling centrifugal force demonstration. I bat .400. My deft floral arrangements have earned me fame in international botany circles. Children trust me. I can hurl tennis rackets at small moving objects with deadly accuracy. I once read Paradise Lost, Moby Dick, and David Copperfield in one day and still had time to refurbish an entire dining room that evening. I know the exact location of every food item in the supermarket. I have performed covert operations for the CIA. I sleep once a week, and when I do sleep, I sleep in a chair. While on vacation in Canada, I successfully negotiated with a group of terrorists who had seized a small bakery. The law of physics do not of me. I balance, I weave, I dodge, I frolic, and all my bills are paid in full. On weekends, to let off a little steam, I participate in full-contact origami. Years ago, I discovered the meaning of life, but forgot to write it down. I've made extraordinary 4-course meals using only a muli and a toaster oven. I breed prizewood lambs. I have won bullfights in San Juan, cliff diving competitions in Sri Lanka, and spelling bees in the Kremlin. I have played Hamlet. I have performed open-heart surgery, and last week I spoke with Elvis. But this is the first time I have sat in for Joey Reynolds. And despite all that, we can still chat and have a wonderful time at 1-800-321-0710. 1-800-321-0710. It is the Joey Reynolds Show, and you probably picked up on the fact that this ain't Joey Reynolds. Joey's on vacation all this week, having a grand old time somewhere in the Netherlands. Actually, the Nether Reaches is probably a better way for it. Brian Wilson's my name. No, not him. The real one. Yes, Brian Wilson. It's unfortunate. He and I were born about the same time, and he got all the press and the money and the girls and so on. Of course, I maintained all my brain cells and a drug-free youth. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, if you're just joining us, well, first of all, where you been? We've been working and slaving over a hot microphone here for the past couple hours. Secondly, our phone number is 1-800-321-0710. Thirdly, let me say hello to everyone on WGR, listening on WGR up in Buffalo, and a happy beef on weck to each and every one of you. It's one of Mr. Reynolds' old haunts, and I've haunted that place a few times myself, and the less said about that, the better. We've been talking about girls' schools. An all-girls public school has opened up here in Manhattan, and if you watched ABC, CBS, or NBC earlier this evening, chances are you saw Peter and Dan and Tom all just gaga over the whole thing. One or two of them gave a kind of a sidebar mention of the fact that the ACLU has filed suit against this school because it is a public all-girls school, and therefore it discriminates against boys. And according to federal law, that's illegal. So I thought, well, is this a good thing or a bad thing or whatever? I mean, I would not mind attending an all-girls school, but then we wouldn't be having this discussion. My daughters attended all-girls schools, Notre Dame in Baltimore, Maryland, which, of course, obviously was a private Catholic school that I paid dearly for them to attend. My youngest son, Jeremy, attended Loyola in Baltimore, obviously an all-boys Jesuit school, for which I paid dearly. But this we're talking about here, an all-girls school that's using public funds and not allowing boys to attend. And how does that come home to you? There's a variety of ways we can discuss this, and that's exactly what we're doing. So let's pop on over to Long Island and check in with Linda. Linda, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Nice to have you aboard.
Nice to have you also.
Well,
I just put the radio a little while ago. I was flipping around, and I was very surprised to hear you.
Oh, why?
And I'll tell you why in a minute, but I just I want to get back. I'll tell you why, but really fast, I heard what you were talking about, and I want to just comment about that, about the Citadel.
Yes. The Citadel situation, yes.
Yeah, I didn't know what you spoke about before. I just heard you talking about the girls' school, so
right.
I didn't know if you had mentioned it.
Hadn't gotten to the Citadel yet.
Okay.
So go right ahead.
Okay. Well, I think obviously it's very unfair. They never should have done that to. It was a great, very historical school.
Uh-huh.
They certainly shouldn't have done anything to them if they're going to allow a girl, an all-girls school with government funds. It's an equal situation.
So you're essentially saying that there's a certain amount of governmental hypocrisy by saying on one hand it's okay for these schools to exist. Well, I think
it isn't all right. It isn't all right. We have laws, and it's not all right to have an all girls or all boys. If that's the law, it applies to everyone.
I agree with you entirely. I was just going to say I think the difference is that some of these, in fact, all of the girls' schools that I'm personally aware of, and that certainly is not every all-girls school that ever
right.
existed, but the ones that I'm thinking of right now are private. And as long as they don't receive public funds
right.
to support them, then that's okay. Of course. Now, what's
right.
interesting about that whole thing is that the government has said in response to that if any there's a school in I want to say it's Ohio. I could be wrong. I'm sure I'll be corrected if I am. I think it's Hillsdale College, I believe, and it is if I'm wrong on the name and I'm wrong on the location, sue me. Because the point I'm trying to make here is that there is a private college out there, and they were taken to task by the federal government because they wanted to maintain their independence to set their curriculum and so on. And the government was driving them crazy. This is 15, 20 years ago, if I recall correctly, that they had to submit their curriculum and so on and so forth.
Right.
And the and the college said, we don't have to do anything in response to you, Mr. Federal Government, because we aren't getting any of your money. And sure enough, they were not.
Right.
They weren't getting any sort of supplementary income from anything or anything. Well, then the government, after they ran around the mulberry bush with the Justice Department a time or two, came up and said, well, now wait just a darn minute here. You've got some kids that are attending school there, and they are attending with scholarship money or grant money that they got from us, and therefore, because federal monies are being paid to these students who are in turn spending their money at your school, see, you are receiving government funds, so you got to fess up. I mean, that was a leap of Olympic proportions when it comes to the logic of the whole thing. But what happened was the college retaliated by saying, okay, no more students can attend here with federal college scholarships. We will set up our own scholarship program, and they still to this day are the only college in the country that is able to do that. So, but you're exactly right.
I forgot. So I just now, the whole time you were talking about, I didn't remember. Just now, I remember the story. I remember that, and that's very true. It's I do remember that happening.
See, there's two ways.
That is so but isn't it? I mean, this is really hypocritical now. This is like crazy.
Well, it's beyond hypocritical. It's illegal.
It is illegal. I mean, I'm sure it'll be overturned because it is illegal.
But what we're having, what's interesting here is we're having this interesting discussion about, on one hand, the network types and the media types and a lot of other types are saying what a great thing this is because, girls are special, and in the 7th grade they've got to be put in a special surrounding, or all these nasty boys, and that runaway testosterone is going to prevent them from scoring high.
What about the poor boys? The boys who have problems, as far as having girls around. I mean, it's a thing. It's an equal situation. I mean, you're singling out. I'm a female. I don't believe in singling out females against men. I mean, males. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you do it for one, then you have to do it for the other.
You got to ask yourself, how do if the law is the law,
right,
then how can you enforce or not enforce a law just because it doesn't feel good?
Right, exactly.
Or whatever.
Okay, now let's get to the important thing.
Yeah, let's get into the short strokes.
And that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you wrote the book, A Little Black Book of Whitewater.
Little Black Book on Whitewater. Yes, I did. Yes.
That's very right. That's very, very good. Can people still buy it?
Oh, I've got a few thousand copies left back at the house. I can hit you out for. Yes,
okay.
It's still available.
Did you? I was going to ask you what you thought about this other hypocrisy about Susan McDougal. This whole ridiculous thing that she's trying to make deals with Clinton.
Well,
doing the little, eye winking and ridiculous interviews.
They're just trying to force it out of me. Those horrible, those horrible prosecutors are trying to.
Right, but make a deal with me. She's saying to Clinton, make a deal. Make a deal and pardon me and get me out. I'm already convicted.
Well, I made a deal with Joey that I would not get into, some of my more political.
Oh, you can't talk about it?
Well, certainly, but it was just an understanding, a deal I made with Joey that since most of the folks during the day can wallow around in all the politics that they like, we keep this thing a little bit easier. But I'll just say very quickly that Susan McDougal, yes, is attempting to cut a deal with Clinton, because just as the rest of them are, because they basically have a wild card with him that whatever they do, whatever prison sentences they get, if they keep their yap shut, he will.
It's a blackmail situation.
He'll pardon them all, and that'll be the end of that. Yeah. But when I come back in another life or another day part or something, I'll be more than happy to get into that with you.
I hope you do, and let me. I don't know where you're going to be. I hope you are. I hope you will be in New York.
Wherever I am, that's where I'll be.
Well, if I'm in New York, I hope you're in New York. You're very interesting. You have a very, very good sense of humor.
You're very kind.
No, I enjoy. It's very. I just heard you for a little while tonight. I mean, I heard you before.
Well, good. It's good to be heard, and I thank you very much. It's just very difficult to take compliments like that, but your check will be in the mail, and I thank you so much, Linda. We'll get back to more calls here in just a moment. Yours especially at 1-800-321-0710. We got a long ways to go with this one yet. This isn't even the tip of the iceberg, and here comes the Titanic. 1-800-321-0710. Want to hear from you. Brian Wilson here for Joey Reynolds.